You know, I've experienced the teachings at One World Academy. I've been here for the last 5 days going through the Field of Transformation program. And I also participated in the 3-day Being Limitless program. And I've spent the last 10 years as a seeker. And I came here really with one question that I've been looking for an answer for the last 3 years, which is, I understand that how I feel comes from me, comes from my inner world. And, but I didn't know what I wasn't seeing in my own thinking that was causing my pain and suffering. And before I share what it was that I found, what I find so profound about these wisdom teachings is the simplicity of them. There are core, fundamental teachings that are unique to One World Academy, for example, 2 states of being. Can you explain a couple of these cornerstones of the wisdom teachings?
There are only 2 states of being, suffering and no suffering, or unawareness and unawareness. There is no third state. When you say suffering, you can put all the painful states. And when you say no suffering, you can all the beautiful states that we experience.
Okay.
When we look at all the painful states, I've already explained to you, the stressful states, anxiety, fear, hurt, jealousy, comparison, feeling low about oneself, feeling lonely. Everything is a painful state. If you're not in a painful state, that means you are in a beautiful state. A beautiful state of joy, a beautiful state of love, of compassion, togetherness, or experiencing oneness. These are all the beautiful states. You either live in this state or this state.
There's no in between. There's no I'm 30% in a beautiful state and 70% in a suffering state.
At every moment, it is either this state or this state. There is no third state. And we have a choice whether to live in this state or this state. The second strong teaching, or second pillar of One World Academy is individuals suffer, all suffering.
All suffering.
Is because of self-centric thinking. When we say self-centric thinking, we are not talking about selfishness. It is where the entire thinking is revolving around oneself. See, actually when you suffer, when you are in those painful states, when you are in those limited states, if you bring your attention little towards yourself, the thinking would be so much revolving around oneself. Why did this happen? Why should it be me? What did I do that it is happening to me? The entire thinking is revolving around oneself. And that thinking is suffering. If the thinking is not revolving around yourself, and if the thinking is where you're connected to the other, in that thinking, there is no suffering. The suffering is only when there is self-centered thinking. And we are differentiating definitely between a problem and suffering.
Yeah, this was the huge breakthrough for me, which was the idea that the suffering is the self-centric thinking. In other words, we tend to associate that there's a particular problem and yeah, okay, I may be causing myself pain through my thinking about the problem, my thinking about how I never have enough money, or my thinking about how my partner is angry at me. But there's still some suffering in the experience of the partner or the problem. But what you're saying is that suffering itself, there's a challenge.
There is a challenge when you are facing a difficult situation. There is a challenge when you're facing something that you don't want to face with your partner or with your family or with your children. There is a challenge. But that is a problem to be solved. But moving away from the problem, the focus gets on yourself. Why is he doing it to me? Why is he causing me so much pain? Why is my child not listening to me? Have I done the right thing? When the movement goes towards oneself, the entire experience is painful.
Yes.
It is suffering. So we are differentiating between a challenge and suffering. And if you are not in this place of self-centric thinking, if you're not in this place of suffering, you can cut through suffering. If you know the path to cut through suffering, the way you address problems, the intelligence that you can give to a situation or a response that you can give to a problem will be totally different. There would be intelligence that will be flowing out. But as long as it is just self-centric thinking and suffering revolving around oneself, there is no clear thinking that can happen.
So people might say, well, Preethaji, that's easy to say, but my boss is doing this, and my children I have to deal with over here, and the financial problems over there. It's real stress. But what you're suggesting is, yes, these are challenges,
Yes.
but the suffering that you experience, the stress, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the feeling of not being good enough, the experience of comparing yourself to other people, all of that simply comes from the obsessive self-centric thinking around the challenge,
Yes.
right? When you focus on yourself.
And from that place of focus on oneself, you actually can't do much.
There's no intelligence.
There is no intelligence, and all that is coming out, your response, can be a habitual response. There is nothing newness to it. There's no newness to it. There's no intelligence to it. There's no wisdom to it. It's just a repetitive, habitual response to a situation.
Yes.
So as long as it's old in the past and you're not awake to what is happening in the present, then you're not actually alive to a situation. And from that place, you can't definitely create wonders in life. You can't create a great destiny.